Alright guys, my name is Michael Reed and I own an all-electric lawn service called Quiet Lawn. I've had the great opportunity to test out the commercial line of Ego products these last couple of days, and I wanted to give you a review and some of my thoughts. This is the commercial trimmer. We got a chance to test this along with the commercial blower here. This system has a backpack battery, which will typically last about a full day depending on the tool you're using. We're comparing it to what we're already using, which is also Ego. It's their multi-head, their power head system. We've been using these for about a little over 2 years, ever since they came out with them, and we've been very pleased. Take into consideration when you're listening to the review that we've already been using electric equipment, and we've already been using the Ego products. My first impression after using this Ego commercial trimmer, it's a great trimmer. It's lightweight. They turned the shaft to carbon fiber, which definitely takes away a lot of the weight. It's very well built, very tough. It's actually got a metal trigger that's not going to wear out, not going to break. A lot of other good features. Very comfortable. The backpack battery system probably weighs about, I would guess, about 20, maybe 25 pounds at the most. Very comfortable adjustments on the straps. It really makes it where you can adjust it to carry all the weight around your hips and not up on your shoulders. Very good system, very clean system. The things I like about it are the weight. Obviously the run time, being able to use it all day as opposed to having to swap out for the smaller batteries maybe once or twice a day with our existing equipment. Lots of power, very well made, very comfortable. Just well made. Everything with Ego that I've ever had is very well made. Very good equipment. Things I don't like about it would be, for one, having to carry a 20, even though the trimmer is lighter, having to carry a 20 or 25 pound backpack around all day tends to get old. I had mentioned in a previous video that I'd used a similar system in the past with the backpack batteries, and I don't know if it was because of carrying the backpack around all day or not, but I started to get some nerve pain in the back of my neck and my upper shoulders. I'm not sure if that was a result of carrying that backpack or not. So that's kind of why we switched to the system with Ego with these other trimmers, to where we could have the battery on the actual trimmer. Other things I might not like about it, it doesn't quite have as much power as the other Ego trimmers that we've been using. These things right here, they're multi-head system that you can get on HomeDepot.com or any of the Ego dealers. These things are beast, and I've heard these compared to the strongest of gas trimmers. These things are just absolute monsters. This thing has plenty of power. I'm not saying it doesn't have power. It's very strong. It'll cut through anything you need to, but it just doesn't quite have the pep as the Ego multi-head system, which I'm not saying you need it unless you're cutting through thick brush all day. This is going to be perfect for maintaining properties. I think it's better for larger properties. If you're doing commercial properties with some acreage, it would be really tedious to use what we use on small residential properties on big commercial properties, because we would be having to walk half a mile back to the truck to change batteries. With this system, if you're on a large apartment complex or some kind of commercial property, you're going to be able to use this all day or for several hours without having to go back to the truck. So I think it's a little bit more geared towards those larger properties. It's a little bit tedious, and that's what I noticed with the previous system that we used with the backpacks, is that when we're on, our average property is about a quarter acre, and we're only there for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So it's kind of tedious to have to get into the truck, put on the backpack, take it off every 10 or 15 minutes. So that's kind of why we like the system we have right now. You know, that's been better for us. If you're switching from gas, it's a no-brainer to go with either one of these. You know, they're just so much less maintenance. The power's there. It's just everything is cheaper. The gas cost, you know, it's a no-brainer. I would recommend either one of these systems. For small residential like we do, I definitely like the Ego multi-head system better, just because, like I said, of the few things like the you know, not having to carry this heavy backpack, and then the tediousness of having to put a backpack on and off all day. As far as the blower, we've been using the Ego 580 CFM model that you can get at their dealers. I don't think you can get them in Home Depot, but you can get them at homedepot.com. Very powerful blower. It's got a turbo button feature here that gives you like a very high velocity blast of air. And that's been perfect to like blast away dirt, like from edging and things like that. Their commercial version is really powerful. It sends a lot of volume of air, so it moves a lot of air, but it doesn't have that turbo feature where you can get that high velocity. So I feel like even though it's great, you know, it'd be good for blowing off large parking lots, things like that. It doesn't really have that blast feature I like, you know, to kind of get dirt off from where you're edging or things like that. But still a very powerful blower. You know, very well made, very comfortable, very lightweight, easy to use. And just like everything with Ego, you can tell it's very well made and it's going to last forever. That's another thing about this Ego equipment. We have used this stuff like crazy for the last 2 years, and I've never had a single motor burn up, any issues whatsoever. I had to replace one battery, so you know, anything you get with Ego, it's going to be very well made. No, I don't even have any. These have been used for hundreds of hours, and they don't even sound like they're getting weaker. You know, I can't tell any difference that they're not brand new. I prefer what we're using already. Now, the good thing about this system, this commercial system, what I do like about it is the battery capacity. And what you can buy, and what would work for us, is buying one of these adapters that plug into the commercial battery here. And what that would allow us to do is to get the capacity of the larger battery, but with the equipment that we already like to use, like the multi-head system and things like that. So that is an option, and that is something nice about Ego, is that you can use their batteries and these things in all their pieces of equipment. I'm sure we could even use this in the mower, in the push mower. But that is something that would work for us, especially, you know, like in the fall time, if you're doing leaf cleanups. The smaller batteries, you know, they're probably not going to run more than, you know, half hour, 45 minutes. If we had this, you know, we could still use our blowers and we'd get, you know, several hours of run time out of them. So, you know, that's kind of a nice feature. You know, something I would recommend, and we definitely might in the future might buy some of these commercial backpack batteries to use with our existing equipment. I think if you're doing commercial properties, this is a great system for you, and this is what you should, you know, you should probably go with this. If you're doing small residential like us, I would recommend their multi-head system. They don't market it as commercial grade. I don't know why. These things are built extremely tough. This thing has more power than, you know, some of your biggest steels and or any of your, you know, some of your biggest power heads. They have tremendous amount of power. They're very well balanced. You know, just got all the features you can imagine without the maintenance and without the issues. I would highly recommend these. My advice to Ego would be to market this more to commercial guys, because this is a very good trimmer. We put hundreds of hours on them without a single problem. So, you know, I think these have a very good opportunity to be marketed to people that, like myself, with lawn businesses that cater to smaller properties. These things are so powerful, I even put a steel bed redefiner blade on these, and it ran just fine. The only thing that happened is after about 15 minutes the battery overheated, and it just shut itself off, and I had to, you know, take the blade off. But these power head systems are extremely powerful, so, you know, great trimmers. But anyways, there's the only thing you might do to make it more commercial quality is put the same handle that you put on here onto this one, and that's about it. Otherwise, these things are built very, very tough. But that's my feedback. Right now, like I said, I'm happy with what we're using. I'm happy with the Ego products. Kind of, assess what type of business, what type of customers you're going for. I definitely recommend you trying some of the Ego products and seeing what you like best. But again, like I said, you've got great options here, whether they're commercial grade or their other products that they have. But thank you for watching the review. Please subscribe, like the video, and as always, we appreciate your feedback.